Firestop Systems presents this video to acquaint you with the Elasta-Seal fire stops, a simple, reliable, and economical system for fire-stopping penetration openings. It is well established today that electrical equipment rooms and other sensitive areas in major industrial and commercial buildings require penetration seals, which prevent the spread of fire and provide an air and watertight environment. Firestop Systems can provide the world's finest elastomeric penetration fire stop. Cable riser penetrations, such as the one shown here, are easily fire stopped with the Elasta-Seal system. The Elasta-Seal fire stop is elastomeric. This accommodates thermal expansion and contraction of the cables, trays, and conduits, much like having a fire-retardant rubber glove over the penetration opening. The Elasta-Seal fire stop is uniform, tough, watertight, easy to keep clean, and can be painted to match the surroundings if desired. Clients are well pleased with the ease, simplicity, and neatness of the installation. Large concentrations of any size cables are easy to fire stop with Elasta-Seal. The Elasta-Seal fire stop system will conform to any opening size, shape, and depth. It will accommodate any type and size of penetrating objects, including steel strut, cable trays, conduits, piping, and large bundles of power control or instrument cables. The Elasta-Seal system adheres to the walls of the penetration opening, locking it firmly in place without external fastenings such as support wires or plates. There is never a problem of Elasta-Seal coming loose or falling out of large sealing penetrations. The materials used by Firestop Systems do not shrink or settle after installation, as some other brands of Firestop materials do. Exposure to direct sunlight, extreme weather conditions, and industrial byproducts in the atmosphere pose no problem to Elasta-Seal. Elasta-Seal is extremely durable, and the useful life of the system is calculated at a minimum of 60 years. The neat, clean appearance of Elasta-Seal fire stop will blend into the finish of any room. There is never a worry about cracks developing in this elastomeric material, even when exposed to vibrations and movements in metal walls above doorways. This Elasta-Seal fire stop is a typical installation of a cable tray passing through a wall penetration. The Elasta-Seal is a unique fourth-generation patented system developed after years of study and experience. The next several minutes of our video will take us from the starting point of an open penetration and proceed step by step to demonstrate a typical Elasta-Seal fire stop installation. We begin by closing all air passage gaps between the layers of cables, as this is absolutely essential to achieve an air and watertight penetration seal. There are two simple methods of sealing these air passage gaps. In the first method, we are using our standard high-pressure spray pump to inject Thermolastic 83 coating between the stacked layers of cables. The Thermolastic 83 effectively seals around and between all the cables. The second method may be employed where airless spray equipment is not available. The installation technician is using a small diameter pointed plastic pipe to separate the cables, allowing the Thermolastic 83 mastic to be applied between the cables with an ordinary paintbrush. Both of these methods are equally effective, as we can see from the underside of the cables. We begin closing the penetration opening with Firestop Systems number 310 panel, working from the bottom of the penetration opening upward. The Firestop 310 panels are easily cut to the required shape using a knife. These 24-inch by 48-inch panels are 3 inches thick and constructed of compressed silica fibers and fire-resistant binders. The Thermolastic 83 mastic is applied inside the edge of the penetration opening. This mastic will act as a lubricant to glide the tight-fitting panel into the opening. When the mastic dries, it becomes an adhesive and holds the panel securely in place. The Firestop 310 panel will compress under pressure for a tight fit in the opening. Smaller pieces of the panel are cut to fill the remaining open areas of the penetration. The leading edges of the panel have been beveled slightly to facilitate a smoother entry. The Firestop 310 panel installed in one side of the opening, as shown here, will result in a 1-hour rated fire stop. FireStop 310 panels installed on both sides of the opening will result in a 3-hour rated fire stop. When all the panels are in place, small gaps are filled with FireStop Systems silica fiber. This is soft, cotton-like fiber that is easily worked into gaps around the edges of the panels. Masking paper is applied about 1 inch from the edge around the outside of the penetration opening. We also mask around the trays and cables, 6 inches out on both sides, to form a neat, clean edge around the entire fire stop. The Thermolastic 83 fire retardant coating is being sprayed using an airless pump, which eliminates any mist or fog in the air. This 1/16 inch thick coat seals the surface and adds to the fire resistance of the completed system. After the coat of Thermolastic 83 is dry to the touch, the finished coat of Thermolastic 83E fire retardant rubber is sprayed to a thickness of approximately 1/16 of an inch. This glass coat produces an elastomeric fire retardant finish that is comparable to dipping one's hand in liquid rubber to form a perfect tight-fitting glove which stretches to allow movement. All masking paper is removed after the thermolastic coating is dried to the touch. The finished fire stop is uniform, neat, clean, durable, pleasing to the eye, and consistently reproducible. A single cable or conduit can easily be added through the Elasta-Seal fire stop. A pointed wooden dowel of approximately the same diameter as the cable or conduit to be added can be twisted through the penetration seal in about 30 seconds. 200 feet of 6-conductor 14-gauge cable is being pulled through the fire stop. The new cable glides smoothly through as the cable jacket does not chafe against the Elasta-Seal materials. If the new hole was made with a dowel of the proper diameter, the opening will be clean and tight around the cable. No repair to the Elasta-Seal fire stop will be necessary. The Elasta-Seal material has a memory and will normally return to seal tightly around the added cable within a day. Fire stops beneath control panels or electrical cabinets can be very difficult installations for some products. These openings are typically congested with cables feeding down through the floor, and access from the top side of the penetration is commonly limited due to the electrical hazards of working near high or medium voltage termination points. But because the Elasta-Seal system can be installed from either the top or bottom side of the opening, the fire stop can be installed in most cases while the equipment is in operation without creating a risk to the equipment or installation personnel. Highly congested stack tray conditions, such as this metal wall penetration, might present installation problems for some products. However, with Elasta-Seal, this is just another routine penetration to fire stop. This fire test facility is the Construction Technologies Fire Test Division of Portland Cement. FireStop Systems Elasta-Seal penetration fire stops have been tested at this and other facilities for underwriters' laboratories and factory mutual requirements. Rigorous exposure to extreme heat and water tests are necessary to determine the suitability of products or systems for fire endurance. After 3 hours, a typical test slab is lifted from the furnace. We can see the effect of the high temperature on the trays, cables, conduits, and Elasta-Seal fire stop materials that were exposed to the fire. From the furnace area, the slab is immediately turned at a 90-degree angle, and the exposed side of the fire stop is rigorously subjected to 3 separate high-pressure hose stream tests in order to qualify the seal where aggressive fire suppression methods might be employed. When all of the 3-hour fire and hole screen test procedures were completed, the exposed side of the Elasta-Seal fire stop is still in good condition. The unexposed side remains in its original pre-test condition. Test was concluded, and this fire stop had met all the requirements of Underwriters Laboratories, Underwriters Laboratories of Canada, and Factory Mutual System for a 3-hour fire rating. No flame or water had passed through the fire stop. We hope this video presentation has answered some of your questions and has been informative. Thank you for your time and attention. For a thorough introduction to FireStop Systems Thermolastic 83C fire retardant coating for grouped electrical cables, this tape will commence a brief presentation in 20 seconds.